So it's been said that home ownership is the fastest path to wealth there is. And so I wanted to break this down and look at the numbers of renting versus buying to see why that's said, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rental and the ownership scenario using essentially the same house that's $300,000. Over here on the rent side, we're gonna use $300,000, which in the Bryan-College Station area is gonna run you about $2,200 to $2,500 per month. So using $2,500 a month times 12 gives you an annual $30,000. And then here in the area, people stay in their homes about 5 years. So we're gonna use that number as well, giving us a grand total of $150,000 paid in rent over a 5-year period. Now over here on the ownership scenario, we're gonna use that same $300,000 house. We're gonna break the numbers down and explain essentially how those work on the ownership. So I used a $15,000 down payment. That's 5%, which you may be above or below that, right? You may have a higher or a lower down payment, depending on your specific scenario. Here we have appreciation of 5%, and so that gives us $65,000 in increase in value, right? So that $300,000 house you bought is now worth $365,000. Here's a principal reduction amount of $54,000, and that's your mortgage, right? That's the actual principal amount of your mortgage reduced by 54 grand. And then down here is your property tax benefits as a homeowner. And so that's a $16,000 benefit, giving you the grand total of $150,000 on this side. So it's the same number over here, $150,000 paid in rent to your landlord, or as they say, towards your landlord's mortgage. And then over here is the ownership scenario broken down for you that gives you $150,000 but benefit to you, right? And the last thing I want to touch on is the $2,200 a month. That's a realistic amount for your mortgage on the purchase scenario versus the $25,000. But just to go a little bit further with that, if we were to take $2,500 a month instead of $22,000, your principal reduction amount would actually be a lot higher, which would mean that your benefit here on the ownership scenario would be even higher than the $150,000. So if you want to run these scenarios specific to you, I'd love to sit down with you. 979-676-7176. And if this isn't a good enough depiction of what renting looks like, maybe this is a little bit better.